This is the NFL. This is the top elite football in the world. And any NFL team, not just the Eagles, any of the 32 NFL teams should be able to line up under center, look across at the defense, and go, you know what's coming. We're about to run right over your asses, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Welcome to Chasing Balada, the podcast where golf meets real life. From shanks and slices to wins on and off the course, we're keeping it light, loose, and just a little out of bounds. Hosted by Jason Frazier, it's time to grab your clubs, your coffee, and maybe your sanity, because it's time to chase that balada.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. This is the Chasing Balada podcast. I'm your host, Jason Frazier, and let's just get right into it. I'm not going to drone on about golf too much this week. We'll probably touch on it at the end. But this week, I just thought we'd talk about some topics that came to mind since we last spoke, and some things that I'd like to address. We're going to have some fun with it. You know, it's been a good week. Last Friday was Halloween. And we took little man trick-or-treating, you know, his mom and his dad, everybody, we were all there. And it's a lot of fun, you know. He's only 5 years old. So he doesn't really care about the whole you trick-or-treat from 6 to 8. All he cares about is, hey, let's go out, let's get some candy. And so I think we were out there for like an hour, not even an hour and a half before he was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. Let's go. And so, you know, we took him home, and of course, you know, like all good responsible parents, you know, his mom and dad went through all the candy to make sure there wasn't anything weird in there. And, you know, we all took a little bit of something to make sure it wasn't poison, because that's what good grandparents do, right? You know, and then my wife and I, we went out with some friends Friday night. We went to this local brewery up the road. They were doing like this Halloween party or whatever. There was a cover charge to get in. And I guess we're the old people because, you know, we showed up about 8:30, 8:45, and the place was practically empty because I guess the party hadn't started yet. So, but you know what? That's fine with me because I am not a crowded bars kind of guy. Like, the perfect bar for me is, especially when I used to be in the Navy and we'd be on deployment, we pull into some foreign country and me and my buddies would just walk around till we saw a Guinness flag. And if we saw the Guinness flag, we knew we were home, right? Because now we're going into a pub and we can just sit at the bar and have some beers and enjoy ourselves. I've never been a dance club techno whatever bullshit. It's insanely aggravating to me. So it worked out, you know. We hung out there for several hours and had a good time, and just, you know, we were able to just sit and shoot the shit and make fun of each other and have some drinks, and it didn't really start getting crazy and crowded until about the time we were getting ready to leave. So I'm all right with that. And kids weren't allowed at this party, which is good because I don't know, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a fan of kids at breweries. I know just about every brewery in the world does that. You know, it's a setting, it's outdoors, there's things for kids to do, but that's not my thing, you know. So it was nice to see that this was an event where kids weren't allowed, and, you know, we could have a good time. But so we did that Friday night. You know, Saturday, my wife and I have been together for 8 years now, officially. Married since 2018, but we got together in 2017. And so we decided we were going to make a day of it, and we decided instead of going to play golf, which is what we would normally do, we decided to go to a movie. I let her pick the movie, and she picked a romantic movie. It's called Regretting You. And I'm not going to lie, it really wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So, no complaints. I know most guys don't want to go and sit through that kind of stuff, but it honestly was not a bad movie. And plus, no matter what movie we saw, the main reason that we like to go to these movies is so we can binge eat popcorn and utilize the Coke machines. And I'm talking about those big Coke machines that have like 5,000 different soda options. You got Coke and Mellow Yellow and all this crazy stuff. And, the Coke's got like 27,000 different flavors. I mean, it's just the greatest thing ever. We drink zero sugar Coke, just for the record. But, she likes the cream soda. I like, and I've never seen it in cans, but if you go to one of those or you find one of those machines, they usually have peach flavored Coke, and man, that stuff is ridiculous. And plus, you get free refills on the popcorn, which is definitely a good thing because we usually murder our first tub of popcorn before the previews are even over. So by the time the movie starts, which I might add, we tried a little different strategy this week. Because, the movie started at 3:35. Okay, cool. Most people get to the movie theater, we'll say 10 minutes prior to whatever the start time is. They get their stuff, they get in there. And then you've got, 30 minutes of previews. You've got 5 or 10 minutes of, it seems like 30 minutes of previews. And you got like 5 to 10 minutes of like announcements and whatever Hollywood wants to talk about. So by the time you get to the actual movie, anything you've walked in there with, you've pretty much already consumed it. And now you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs and the movie hasn't even started yet. So the fact that this movie theater, it's over in Hampton, that you get free refills on popcorn, and of course you can go back and fill up your drinks as much as you want, that's a great thing. But so we had a good time, and then we went out and had a steak afterwards, and it was just a great day. Sunday, as usual, we did our 9 holes. We went to the golf course and played. And again, my swing, I'm just going through a funk right now. I am in a zone where I went from playing really, really, really good golf to holy shit, just let me get through this hole. I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. I'm doing something in my swing where I leave the club face kind of open at impact, and I'm pushing a lot of shots right. My normal shot shape is kind of a fade, but when it starts right at target and then starts fading, that's a problem. So, but even still, it doesn't matter what we shoot. We always have a great time, and we just love being out there. The weather was beautiful. I don't think there was a cloud in the sky. We teed off a little before 3 o'clock, so as we're coming up and wrapping up, it's starting to get dark, and I'll talk about that in a second. But evening golf is just the best time to play golf. If you're out that late as the sun's starting to set, man, it's just peaceful, and there's really just no better place to be. But we got home Sunday, and I'd already made up my mind that I was having pizza for dinner. I bought one of those Motor City Pizza Company pizzas. They're like those square pizzas. You can buy them at Food Lion now. And I was watching I made it. I was having a couple drinks. I was watching the Chiefs game. And I'll go into this more in a minute, but I love talking shit on the Chiefs. I do. Because I'm an Eagles fan. And, if the Chiefs sucked, nobody would talk about them. But they don't suck. In all reality, they're one of the best teams in football. So it's fun to talk shit on them. And I realized in the process of me talking shit back and forth with a friend of mine on Facebook about the Chiefs, I had eaten that entire pizza in one setting. I didn't know whether to be proud or ashamed. And what's even worse is when I first got done and realized that I wasn't even really that full. Like the fullness hadn't set in yet. I was miserable later. But the fullness hadn't even set in yet. And I just looked at that empty tray and thought, holy cow, dude, I am a piece of shit. But I loved it. I don't regret it because it was delicious. Um, and, going back to what I said about it getting dark earlier, uh, is fall the best season? Is fall the best season of the year? Personally, I think so. My wife would hardcore disagree. When you get into fall, right, that generally means that football season is in full swing. The leaves are changing colors, the weather's starting to change. I mean, it's just the absolute prettiest time of the year in my opinion. And I personally would rather be cold and have to layer up than it be 98 degrees out, 100% humidity, and all you can do about it is just sweat. Because, you can strip down to basically nothing and you're still going to be hot and you're still going to sweat your ass off. But when it's cool outside, you can just kind of layer up and go about your day. And I think that's the better option. Now, my wife would disagree with me on practically all of this. She is a summer girl, and at this point, I'm pretty sure she's solar powered by sunlight. So, she is not a fan. And you know what, honestly, it is a bummer that with the rollback of the clocks, now at 5:30, 5:45, it's dark outside. And as a golfer, that really sucks, because as we start to get into the winter months, with the temperatures dropping, if you have a frost problem, you can't tee off till 9-10 o'clock sometimes, and it gets dark at 5:15, 5:30. You can't play golf at that point, so your window for golf is like this. And so that's not very much fun. That would probably be my only negative about fall and then moving into winter. So and then let's shift gears to what I think is a hot button topic for me. So I was out running some errands yesterday, and I had a couple golf clubs regripped. So while they were being regripped at Dick's, I went over to Walmart, picked up a couple things, and picked up my golf clubs. And by then, it was like, excuse me, it was about 11 o'clock. So I was hungry. So right across the street there was a Chipotle. Now, for those that know me, I'm a big Chipotle guy. Like, I love the burrito bowls. And, when I was active duty Navy, especially on shore duty, I probably went to Chipotle once or twice a week. It's not good for the wallet, but I don't care. I just really love it. And, the burrito bowl is just one of the best things out there. So now, since I've left the Navy, I've really backed off eating out for lunch and things like that. But, I was there, I was out, I was hungry. I didn't feel like coming home and cooking, so I grabbed some Chipotle. And in true fashion, it happened. I walk in there, and there's one guy ordering. He's in uniform. He's a sailor. He's up at the counter. He's ordering. There's one woman in line behind him, and then me. And that's it. The place is a ghost town. And this dude was ordering 4 different orders. Now, I'm sorry, but that's just a douchebag move. He literally had a notepad with all these different orders on them. And there's one woman making all the food. So how long do you think that's going to take? And so we're standing there, and this guy is just being a fucking douchebag, taking his time. He's messing things up, because he's missing things on his notes, and he's literally having to flip pages for his 4 different orders. I mean, are you kidding me? If you're going to do a big order in a place like Chipotle or Jersey Mike's or Subway or any place where you kind of go in there and you work your way down the line as they make it, if you're getting more than 2, I'll say 2 orders. 2 orders max. You go in there, you order 2 burrito bowls. Okay, cool. I get it. But one person going in there and cold ordering 4 different things, I mean, order that shit online. What year are we in? And then, by the time that dude got up to the counter to pay, I looked back, there was 11 people in line. We had not moved. Because it's not like they had the people working to go ahead and continue on with the next person in line. And then, of course, he had to pay with 4 different check cards, right? We've already made 4 different orders. Now I'm going to have to pay with 4 different check cards. And he knew he was being a turd, man, because he kept looking back. And every time he looked back, the line was a little longer and a little longer. And he would just put his head down and go back to what he was doing. And you know what? In those situations, it's really hard not to say something. Like, I know that I can be not very polite sometimes. Sometimes I come across a little harsh and abrasive when I'm really just being honest. But I do honestly go out of my way to not inconvenience other people. Because I don't ever... I try to never be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But, I mean, it was just awful. And, again, by the time this dude was paying and checking out and finally leaving, now the place is full of people waiting. And so it just caused this huge backup, and it's asshole of the day for sure. He got my asshole of the day vote. And so that's my take on multiple orders in public. All right, don't do it. Use the app, go to the website, order online, be a good person. Order it online, pay online, and then you just go in and you pick it up off the shelf and you walk out. Normally, you don't even have to talk to people. Most fast food places offer, or most lunch places offer online ordering. Order ahead, you just walk in. At worst, you have to say who you are, and they hand you your food. But you're out the door. No harm, no foul. And Chipotle has its own station for ordering online. It doesn't interfere with the people in the restaurant. So, man, sailors, what are you going to do, right? Speaking of douche moves, when I said I was talking shit on Facebook to a buddy of mine during the Chiefs game, it gave me the idea to talk about this topic because we ended up talking about it. And maybe he'll see this, maybe he won't, I don't know. Excuse me. But we're going to talk about something that I know pretty much everyone outside of the Philadelphia Eagles fan base hates. And that is the Tush Push. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Tush Push is a play that the Eagles run, which it's basically just a quarterback sneak. But given the rules of the NFL, the quarterback is allowed to be pushed from behind to help gain leverage and move forward, hence the Tush Push, right? Because they're basically whoever's behind Jalen Hurts, whether it be Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown or whoever, They're basically grabbing onto that ass and moving him forward through the pile. Now, for fans in the NFL, they know what this play is, and they absolutely hate it because it's practically unstoppable. You know, we've been running it for several years now, and overall, it's got something insane like a 90% success rate. And teams, fans that are not Eagles fans can't stand it. They hate it. They cry that it's not a football play. What makes it not a football play? The center snaps the ball through his legs to the quarterback. That makes the play legal. And that makes it a football play. What they do from there is a football play. And it's all within the rules. I can't help it that the Eagles take advantage of a rule that the NFL allows. You know, when you got a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds and you've got an offensive line that's one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL, and then you've got those horses behind him that are pushing him forward, I mean, you'd be crazy not to. It is a guaranteed yard or two, depending on who they're playing against. And people hate it. It's not a football play. It's cheating. It's this. It's that. Whatever. 90% success rate. And, oh, by the way, all 32 teams are allowed to run this play. It's not my fault that the other 31 don't. They should. You know what? Maybe the Bills. The Bills kind of do. I don't know if it's necessarily very similar to the tush push, but Josh Allen and the Bills run the quarterback sneak quite a bit, and they're pretty successful with it as well. Why wouldn't you? And I brought this up on Sunday because, like I said, I was watching the Chiefs game while I was eating that whole effing pizza and just being a fat kid. And the Chiefs had this big play. They were playing the Bills, and they had this huge play, and they got down. Dude got tackled on like the half-yard line. So they had 1st and goal on the like half-yard line, right? And on 1st down, they ran a play out of shotgun. And it got blown up. And ultimately, the Bills stuffed them on 2nd down and 3rd down, and the Chiefs had to kick a field goal. And so me being me, I had to go on Facebook and say something. I like to go on Facebook just to stir the pot. Like, I don't use social media for anything serious. Like I said, I don't talk about politics and I don't talk about religion. If I go on Facebook, it's either to try and be funny or to just stir the pot. And this was just straight stirring the pot. And of course, a Chiefs fan came back at me, and, you know, immediately it went from me talking shit about the Chiefs to the tush push because of the Eagles. And I'm an Eagles fan. And you know what? Again, I thought it was weak by the Kansas City Chiefs that they would run a play out of shotgun on the half-yard line. Because this is the NFL. This is the top elite football in the world. And any NFL team, not just the Eagles, any of the 32 NFL teams should be able to line up under center, look across at the defense, and go, you know what's coming. We're about to run right over your asses, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Every single team should be able to do that. So, why wouldn't you? You're on the half-yard line. Don't talk about scheme and all this other crap. You need 18 inches to score a touchdown. If you can't line up under center and get 18 inches in the NFL, you need to take a hard look at your roster. And again, for the Eagles, we use it to our advantage because for us, basically anytime we get the football, no matter where we're at on the field, it's not really 1st and 10. It's more like 1st and 8. Because if we end up in a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, sometimes 4th and 2, we're going to get the first down. I can't remember the last time the Eagles punted the football with it being 4th and 2 or more. Or, I'm sorry, 4th or 2 and less. The Tush push, 90%. And again, everybody hates it, but everybody's allowed to run it. So, shame on them. If I was a coach, I'd be looking to get that play into my game plan. That's a guaranteed yard. You when it gets stopped, it's usually some fluke play where Jalen bobbles a snap, or that 1 out of 10 chance when a defensive lineman times the snap just perfectly and gets that penetration. But more often than not, it works. So the fact that not everybody runs it, hey, that's on them. P.S. Cowboys lost again. This time to the Arizona Cardinals and their backup quarterback. I mean, only the Dallas Cowboys could make Jacoby Brissett look like an all-pro. But, hey, that's enough about that. That's the Tush Push in a nutshell. If you hate it, that's not my problem. It is a legal football play. It's not a rugby play. And by the way, our starting left tackle was a professional rugby player in Australia. And he's the first one to say it's absolutely not a rugby play. So I would take his word on it. But moving on. So a little bit about golf this week. I'm not going to dive into golf specifics this week. I'm going to save that for next week probably. I thought that this week we would touch on YouTube golf. Because, excuse me, I have been watching. I hadn't heard anything about it. And then I jumped on YouTube the other day and I stumbled onto the Internet Invitational, which is being put on by Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, those guys. I think they're partnering with Bob Does Sports and Foreplay Golf. But I'll tell you what, man. It's been awesome. So to clarify, for me, YouTube golf, I am more... The YouTube golf that I mostly watch are the ones that actually provide beneficial information while they're playing, right? They're not just playing golf, they're also helping you understand how they play golf, why they do what they do. There's Golf Sidekick, big fan of that one. Mr. Short Game's a great one. But most of these guys, the real popular ones, they're just the guys that get on there and you just watch them play golf. That's all they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying. Like Bob Does Sports, for example, Grant Horvat, good, YouTube channels like that. But this Internet Invitational, so when I saw that, I wasn't sure what it was going to be, so I decided to check it out. And honestly, I can't say enough great things about it. The way they set it up, the way they did it, I just thought was amazing. Basically what they did is they brought in 48 influencers, right? Most of them were golf influencers. Some of them, I think there was like some professional gaming people, that's a thing. People play games for a living, like PlayStation and Xbox. But so they brought in these 48 people, and they split them into two teams of 24. There was a draft. Each team had a captain, and they picked all their players. And then from there, they paired up, and they played like Ryder Cup style. Like they'd play 9 holes, that were a scramble. And then the second 9 holes was alternate shot. And so that was the first day. And each match was worth a point. So at the end of the day, the team that had the most points won, and the other team was eliminated. So there's 24 people gone after day 1. Now, mind you, they're playing for $1 million. It's $1 million purse. So this isn't just, oh, let's get together and make some random ass YouTube video and hope people watch it. This is a legit tournament with $1 million on the line. And so, I'm so sorry. My throat is itching. And so after day 1, 24 of those cats went home. So then you have the other 24 that are left. And now they get split into 2 new captains. They draft their 12 players or their 11 players because the captain is the 12th. And then you repeat the process. 2v2, best ball, scramble, and then the second 9 is alternate shot. Now, this was done back in August. But it's just now airing. The first 3 episodes, it's split into 9 holes. So day 1, first 9, day 1, second 9, and then day 2, first 9 are out on YouTube. I think you can watch them on Bob Does Sports, Barstool, and Foreplay. But so the second 9 of day 2 hasn't, I think it comes out, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. I think it comes out tomorrow, Thursday. But to add to the level of competition, the second day, the first 9, the scramble, not only are you playing for a point for your team, but every hole is worth $4,000. So they're also playing skins. And that money goes to however the team wants to divvy it up. Whether the team says, oh, you won that skin, that's your money, or they just divide it evenly amongst the team. I don't know. But so now you've got that added pressure on you. On top of you're playing for $1 million and you need to not be eliminated after day 2. Now you've got the added pressure of playing for money, cash money. And if you're not familiar with Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy, they love to gamble. And so most of the matches ended before 9 holes. But the first match that made it to the 9th hole, they played, it ended. Everybody's watching. They come up to the green, and Portnoy offers them the opportunity to up the ante because the team that had won $28,000 out of the possible $36,000 on 9 holes. So he told them, since you won, you guys can go back and you can replay the 9 holes or replay the 9th hole until somebody wins it. If you win it, I'll double your money. You win $56,000. But if you lose all your money and you lose the point. The other team gets the point for the match. And he did that twice to two different matches, and both of them said, no, we're going to take the points for the team because they're thinking big picture. Of course, the losing team, that's a stupid decision. Why would you not want to play for that money? Well, you're saying that because you lost, and it would give you the opportunity to steal the point even though you lost the match. But it's just been really good. And you're talking about watching these guys play. There was some dudes that were having to make 6-8 foot putts for $20,000. I mean, that's pressure. That's a lot of pressure. It might not be PGA Tour, but that's a lot of pressure to say, hey, you make this 6 foot putt, you win $20,000. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. And here's the crazy thing about it. I was looking up some stats because it's been getting a lot of views. Like the average PGA Tour event pulls in like just under 3 million viewers. I think the final round of the Tour Championship had almost 5 million viewers. These 3 episodes out on YouTube have pulled in 5 million, almost 4 million, and just over 2 million views so far. And the third episode's only been out like a day. So that just goes to show you that compared to the PGA Tour, like how rapidly YouTube golf is growing. Now you look up live numbers. Live numbers are ass. I'm nothing against live. I like live. I'm not against live. Some of my favorite golfers play on the live tour, but they pull like 100 to 300,000 viewers. Like it's nothing. So, is YouTube golf the way of the future? I don't know. Could be. Like I said a few weeks ago, I'm a big fan of YouTube golf. I think it's great for the game. It grows the game. People that are interested, it's not like it used to be where you had to go out and either go out on the course and figure it out yourself or read magazines or get a golf coach. Nowadays, if you got questions about chipping or putting or whatever, you just go on YouTube and search up whatever it is you want to see, and it's there. And it's just, I think it's great. And I love everything about it. So, but I think I've rambled on for long enough here today. Again, I wanted to steer away from just talking about golf this week. So I thought I'd ramble about some other things that are near and dear to the heart. Multiple orders. Can't stand it. Please don't do it. Be a good person and order online, or just order for yourself and bring your friends and let them order for themselves. All right? Goodness gracious, man. And check out that YouTube, the Internet Invitational. You're not going to be disappointed. It actually is really good golf. The way it's set up, even though, some of those guys are not the best golfers in the world. As a matter of fact, some of them aren't very good at all. And then obviously some of them are very, very, very good. But the way it's done and the way they compete against each other, it makes it incredibly competitive. And it's fun to watch. So I highly encourage you to check that out. But anyways, like I said, it's always great to do this. If you've got any thoughts, comments, concerns, critiques, please leave a comment in the comment section on however you're watching this, whether it be Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Please like and follow, I should say. That's how we grow. If you like the video, you follow me on Spotify, follow me, subscribe on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Like all the content, even if you don't like it, still like it anyways for me. And if you have a comment, leave it there. Or if you're more comfortable, send me that email at chasingballada.com. But other than that, that's it. Week 3 is in the books, and I look forward to talking to you all again soon. So until next time, send it.